Hi there, welcome. In this video, I'll explain the Category 2 piercing point and the trace line method. I'll guide you through identifying a Category 2 point and demonstrate how to apply the trace line method to solve questions involving these piercing points. How can we identify a Category 2 piercing point? There are two things needed to identify the point. We need to see the piercing line as a point view in one projection, and we can't see the surface being pierced as an edge in any view. So how can we represent this visually? Let's use this example of a flagpole piercing a sloped surface. In the plan view, we can see the piercing line as a point view. We can also identify that none of the surfaces are pierced as an edge. How do we apply the trace line method to solve our problem? First, draw a trace line through the point along the surface until it hits known reference edges. Next, project these reference points onto the next view. Finally, connect the projected reference points to reconstruct the trace line, which will reveal the piercing point. Real-world examples of Category 2 piercing points include a flagpole piercing the ground or a dormer piercing the roof of a house. Let's have a look at a question involving a Category 2 piercing point. The question here is asking us to identify the point of interpenetration where the flagpole pierces the sloping side of a mountain. The piercing line, the flagpole in this instance, is seen as a point view in the plan, and we can't see any surface being pierced as an edge, therefore we have identified our Category 2 piercing point. First, draw your line through the piercing point until it hits two known reference edges and make sure to label them. Project the labelled points into the front elevation and connect them to redraw your trace line. Project the point from the plan view up into the front elevation where it hits the line AB, revealing the point of interpenetration. Repeat this process for the end view. This short video showcases the flagpole piercing the mountain in all three projections. Let's have a look at a question involving a few Category 2 piercing points. We will use this 3D model as a visual representation of the lines that we draw in our orthographic projection. Keeping in mind the criteria needed to identify a Category 2 piercing point, we must see it as a point view and it doesn't pierce any of the surfaces as an edge. Once we have determined our points, we can draw our trace line. Draw a trace line through the piercing point, ensuring they hit two known reference edges and label them accordingly. Project point A and C into the front elevation and connect them to redraw the trace line. Project point B into the front elevation, revealing the piercing point. Project the furthest point from the plan view into the front elevation to determine the length of the line and heavy it in. Project the piercing point into the end view. Repeat the same steps for the next piercing point. Note that this line here is in hidden detail because it falls behind the object. Because the line 1,4 is parallel to the base of the object in the plan view, I can draw a line through point 4 in the front elevation, which will also be parallel to the base and the XY line. Continue to project the points from the plan view into the front elevation. Connect all points accordingly. Use a 3D model to determine if a line can be seen or if it's in hidden detail. Repeat the same process for the end view. This short video showcases the futuristic house in all three projections. To summarise, a Category 2 can be seen as a point view in one projection and we can't see the surface being pierced as an edge in any view. I hope that you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching and have a good day.